We are talking about mind over matter today. I've made mention in previous videos about how mental dance can be, and yesterday I talked about ABCs being useful as a mental distraction because oftentimes our heads get the best of us. And this is part of training effectively. One of the things that I encourage my dancers to do is think more on the positive side. Dance yields a lot of challenges for us. We are constantly striving to be better in many different ways, from a physical standpoint to our performances and our stage presence, our musicality, how far we can stretch, how strong we can be, how many pirouettes we can do, how high our arabesque can go. There's so many things. And that all can take a mental toll. We can sometimes kind of mentally beat ourselves up over it because we're constantly in this cycle of wanting to better ourselves. I've seen dancers shut down, and I'm not saying just dancers like at our studio. Bear in mind, I've danced for a long time at this point. I see dancers get upset if they miss an audition. I see dancers get upset if they missed a step out in a show. And oftentimes we can get yelled at if we did it wrong. And I totally get that. That's the director's job to make sure that you are dancing their dances. You don't just get to go out on a stage and like do whatever you want. But I see dancers do better in the long haul when they have a more positive mindset. Dance takes many years of very dedicated training to master the technique and the art form and everything behind it. And it is not an instant gratification, just by any stretch of the imagination. You want to be kind to yourself. So I encourage dancers to remember that it's very much so mind over matter. If you're having a hard time with a step in class, don't focus on what the negative is on that you missed that step and it was just bad. Think about all the things that you know leading into the step. Think about the areas that you can work on. Be proactive in how you're able to better yourself instead of beating yourself up about it. This goes back to the whole don't just be running drills because that's not going to get you anywhere. If you practice the steps leading into a certain thing, again, we'll use pirouettes as an example. If you use your passes properly, implement that. Think about the things that you do well. Think about your struggle areas and a more positive way that you can overcome your struggle areas. When it comes down to learning choreography, I see many dancers have a struggle there because now you have multiple steps coming into the game and it takes a mental toll. And again, the more you keep a proactive approach to it and you remember that these are all things that you have trained for in class, these are all things that you practice in many different ways. It's not just practicing the same thing over and over again. You practice everything we do in a dance multiple ways throughout your classes. Think about that. Think about things that you know and equate it. If you're having a hard time with angles, make it more mathematical. Some people are more visual in those regards. If you're having a hard time breathing, practice your breathing technique. Don't just sit there and say how bad something is or how hard it is. The more you tell yourself that something's hard, the harder it's honestly going to be. It honestly gets easier and better the more proactive of an approach you take to it. And the more that you train your brain that it's okay to make mistakes, you have to fix them, but how do you fix them? And hopefully that helps when you're going through class and you're training, be it for your classes or shows, that you kind of restructure your thought process on things and take a healthier approach to your training methods. I will see you tomorrow.